Hi, this is Dr. David Klein with Stages of Life Medical Institute in Longwood, Florida. And what I'm going to do right now is brief you on what the aftershocks are likely to be as we start getting into the recovery phase of this pandemic. Now, a pandemic is a worldwide or a large-scale epidemic. So here we have an epidemic, the world sees a pandemic. What are the aftershocks likely to be? And I want you to think in terms of local events, and you'll start to figure it out. So if you live in California, and we have listeners, watchers in California, God bless you, living out there in that marvelous area. But you have earthquakes, okay? And I want you to remember how earthquakes work. You have these large tectonic shifts. The earth crust moves in certain ways, slips over each other, and then sends out what is really a minor shake. But as a human being, rather than a 20-mile deep piece of earth, it seems like a major event, and in fact it is. But it's not a singular event. You'll end up with an earthquake, you get shaken, you get your teeth shaken out, the buildings come down, but then something magical happens. Okay, you wait, and you end up with aftershocks. Now, what's the aftershock to be expected? And there are a series of other events which are equally likely to do damage or kill you. They may be less in severity, but they have a tendency to be equally notable. Aftershocks. What about a tidal wave? What about the tsunami? Okay, if you've ever experienced one of these things, it's kind of interesting. Okay, so a big charge of water comes through. It usually comes from an earthquake, as it turns out, and then the lesser waves follow. Guess what? If you're hanging onto a piece of debris, it's the aftershocks that are going to wash you out to sea. So you have aftershocks. The same thing is going to be true in hurricanes. You hit by the front end of it, okay, the front wall. Then you have a brief period of time of peace. Da, 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 da. You go outside and it looks marvelous. Everything is still tied down. And then you get hit by the back wall, okay? It's the second punch. The same thing happens in epidemics. You end up getting the first wave of infection, and then the second wave is likely to happen. The second wave is of lesser severity, but it is equally possible to end up as roadkill. So understand that as the death rates start to decrease, they did not go away. People are still going to die on the tail end of this curve. People are going to become sick and in the hospital. So don't end up on the tail end of this thing. Okay, you don't need to go running into the burning building and being the second or third person burned to death. It doesn't make any sense. So what can you do to take action? What can you do to prevent this? Number one is nutrition. Who is it that gets sick and dies? It's generally people that are not attentive to their nutrition. This can manifest as obesity. It can manifest as adult onset diabetes. It can manifest as autoimmune disorders. And all of these things are, in fact, resulting from your environment. So to genetics to some extent, but your environment. And what does your environment have to do with it? It's that which you eat. Diseases can be genetic, okay, they're unavoidable, but they can also be a result of familiar issues. We tend to eat the same thing our parents ate, and they tend to eat the same thing their parents ate. So wouldn't you know it, these sorts of diseases tend to occur in clusters called families. And unless you're from certain rural areas of this country, the likelihood of you being genetically similar to your cousin or your grandparents in more than a fraction of the genetics is fairly small. So what does it? If you're used to eating the same ethnic food, the same types of food, you're likely to end up with the same nutrient deficiencies. So how do you fix this? You fix this by adequate supplementation. So those vitamins and minerals that all get lumped into one word by whomever tells you, well, you need to take vitamins and minerals. But without being very specific as to what to take, why to take it, how much to take, and how they should be presented to you, doesn't do you very much good. So you need to find somebody locally to help you through these things. Okay, is it helpful to have somebody like me talk to you on the air like this? I've done it for 27 years, and I don't know if I've done anybody any good at all. So if you want to learn more about supplement and supplement nutrition, go to stagesoflifevitamins.com and then look up the type of disease that you've got and look up the type of nutrient that you're interested in. And I've got a series of audio tapes on these things that you can listen to for many, many tens of hours and learn about it. They are not product plugs. They are not advertisements. They're actually radio shows that I've done in the past. So you pick a topic like magnesium. Well, what is it about magnesium? My doctor told me to take magnesium. odds are you're going to get the wrong one because your doctor doesn't know the right one from the wrong one. So go look at magnesium, cursor down, look at the audio files, and start to listen. If you buy our products, thank you. I appreciate it. You'll keep us on the air. If you choose not to, that is fine too. As long as you're getting the right thing and you stay healthy, then I have actually done some good in this world. Lastly, hygiene. Don't you know, okay, that you can make yourself sick by introducing these pathogens, these germs, if you will, into your system. And the way that we typically do it in our society, more so than not, is through our food. COVID-19 is a food-borne illness. It's a gastrointestinal illness that is now being transmitted largely in our society through droplets, but it is just as likely that you're going to get it in your food. So you go ahead and you get a salad made by somebody that has the disease and they get it on their hands, you're going to get it in your food. So there are doctors out there saying, well, we can find the virus in fecal material, that's poop to the rest of you, and you'll find that they'll say, but we don't know if it's infectious. Give me a break, okay? If you have hepatitis A, you'll find it in your poop, and I can promise you that it's infectious. Tuberculosis, brucella, all of these things can work their way through your gastrointestinal tract, and wouldn't you know it? It's one means and mechanisms that dogs and cats get sick. They don't walk up to each other and kiss each other. What they do is they do awful things to their poop, okay? They get sick, and so do we. So what you need to do is watch your hygiene. Wash your food, for God's sake. The vegetables that you've got, okay? So you have celery. You don't think a little soap and water in the celery is going to be a good idea? You wash your food, your potatoes, your carrots. You wash your veggies. Wash them, and then if you can, eat things that are cooked well enough to kill the bacteria. So in the Klein household, what we do is we take our vegetables, put them in a plastic bag, punch holes in it, put a little bit of water in there, and steam it for 2 minutes in the microwave. What does this do? It doesn't cook the vegetables because you might cook out the nutrients, but it sure as heck steams out the bacteria and whatnot on the surface of the plants. So please watch your hygiene, wash your hands, wash your face, okay? And more so, wash your clothing. Okay, we have people that come in this office all the time. I would swear haven't changed their clothes in 2 or 3 weeks. If you're likely to pick something up, it's going to be on your clothing. So if somebody looks at you and coughs at you, the sneeze goes down. Okay, it'll hit your shirt, trousers. So when you go inside, change your shirt, change your trousers, kick off your shoes, wash your face and hands, and then go kiss your wife, kiss your husband, whatever, kids, if you can find them. Pry them away from their phones, whatever you happen to do. I mean, we all have the same issues with kids, but protect them because you're out there doing what you need to do to bring money in to earn a living. You don't want to bring death home with you. So hygiene. So thank you very much. This is Dr. David Klein, Stages of Life Medical Institute, and keep tuned because we will continue to broadcast as long as I have breath. Thank you.